Food, people. Let's talk about food. Oh, Chefy.
Hello, Daniel. What's up?
Oh, busy like you, Chefy. And fabulous.
Fantastic.
So, another week, another episode on Food 101. And before we go on to our topic, we want to invite you to please do visit our official website, www.food101.ca, the official website of Food 101. Right, Shafi?
Yes, fantastic.
So, Shafi, last week we read the letter of Mr. Muhammad asking for a lot. Not asking for a lot. No, asking for what? For the rice, pasta,
Yeah,
and what
well,
else?
I had a few tricks how to cook pasta, how to cook rice. Yes. So last time we talked about the eggs. No, that was the last time. No.
Yes, the eggs, the last one.
Yes, eggs. So this time we're gonna go a little bit on the rice and pasta, and let's see what where they're gonna bring us these
Mm.
topics. Of course.
Yes. So let's talk about the rice first, Shafi.
Absolutely. Well, how to make the rice fluffy and not sticky. Well, it's depend
Oh,
even
yes.
on the rice too, of course. So you're gonna choose the right rice. So if you go looking for a long grain rice like a basmati or a jasmine rice, it tend to be less sticky compared the other rice. Suggestion, of course, always rinse the rice and just to remove all the starch, extra starch in the rice. Okay, the difference between if you want to make like your steam rice or you want to make a risotto. Okay, for the risotto we need the starch, so we don't wash it because we need the starch to make it nice and creamy for the risotto. But to make it fluffy and not sticky, I always suggest a nice rice cooker would be amazing because once you put it in, you follow the recipe from the rice cooking company. Would be the rice will come out nice and perfect. Making sure the most important thing is rinse the rice and take off the extra starch because that's what make better the rice to come up nice and fluffy and not sticky. That's for sure. Soak the rice. That's another one. You can soak the rice for about 30 minutes. Before cooking can help to achieve more uniform texture of the rice. You have to use the right water ratio for the rice. Typically, is one part of rice to 1.5 part to 2 part of water for the long rice. Now depends how you like the rice. Even that one, it's up to you. Like if you want a rice a little bit soft, of course you put a little bit more water. If you want a little bit, uh, uh, not al dente, but of course, cook regularly, but not too soft. You put 1.5. You have to play around a little bit. Especially if you use a rice machine. Some people use bake in the oven, like almost like a pilaf style. You can use the same ratio, like 1.5 to 2 part of water. And yeah, if you don't have a rice cooker. Or you boil the rice. That's another way to boil. Once there is different way. So
Yes.
it's all about what's how you gonna do at home. That's the most important thing. What kind of pot you have, what kind of if you have a rice cooker, would be like I said before, amazing, of course.
Rice cooker is highly recommended.
Yeah, why? Of course. Well, my wife is Japanese, and we have a rice cooker at home. Of course. So once I found out about the rice cooker, hey, I found a heaven over there. It's amazing. No, but I used to. I grew up with my mom. She was boiling the rice, and if you need, depending what you're making for, of course. If you make a salad, rice salad, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But of course, if we as an Italian we make risotto, we don't make we was not making a steamed rice as a Asian.
Mhm. It's different
Yeah,
cooking.
it's completely different. So once, I've been in when I went to Japan, and I found, okay, yeah, they're washing the rice all the time, and stay over there in the water, soaking, making sure it's washed nice and into the water. They keep and say to me, making sure it's washed and into the water is coming out clear, so there is no anymore, the residue of the powder of the starch. Yeah, practically that's all. That's what I can say about rice. It's um, always, typical cooking time. I can tell you it's about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on what kind of rice you use. Always what kind of rice you use. So I'm wondering what kind of rice um, uh, the our requested, you know, Mr. Mohammed,
Muhammad.
Mohammed, yes, Mr. Mohammed, what kind of rice he use? If I wonder if he use a basmati or just me rice, that would be the best trick I can give to him. Just making sure that nice and wash and that's it.
Definitely.
But you can give it that answer too because you use lots of rice too, no?
Yes,
Yeah, of
Filipinos
course.
love rice.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
so easy, Mr. Muhammad. Cooking rice for the Asian people, just equal 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of water. That is the
Uh-huh.
best solution.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I work with Filipino do they say the same thing. 1 cup or 1 cup.
yes, same 1 cup and 1 cup. Mr. Muhammad, I hope you are listening right now or watching us. Cooking rice is so easy, even your eyes is closed or are closed.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. And
One rice cooker.
yeah, and for the pasta, to give a couple suggestions about pasta as I Italian, of
Yes,
course I can.
yes, pasta,
Yeah,
pasta,
pasta.
chef.
Pasta would be for me much easier to talk about it because
Yes, go ahead, Chevy.
I can tell you, okay, Mohammed, make it short. The ratio
Even if
for pasta is for 100 gram of pasta, it's 1 liter of
yes.
water and 10 gram of salt. Okay,
Ah,
that's what you need. Because everybody
yes,
making the same mistake at home. You just make a small pot and then you put half a kilo of pasta inside.
true.
Yeah, it's cooking. Yeah, it will cook, but not as good as if you follow the right way how to do it. For 100 gram of pasta, you need the pasta's got to move in the water. It's got to circulate over there in the water. So if you give only 1 liter of water for 500 grams of pasta, it's not going to work too much. So
For sure.
you're going to find lots of starch coming up in the water too, of course. So the best way is 100 gram of pasta and 1 liter of water, 10 grams of salt for each liter of water. So usually, I always get a big pot at home because that's what I need. We have 5 at home, so of course, you think about how much pasta we eat at home anyway. So, of course, I need a big pot. Al dente. Yes. As an Italian, I love al dente. If you give me two cook pasta, I will not eat it. But
It
yeah,
must be al dente.
yeah, must be al dente. It's easy to digest. That's for sure. If and people they don't think about it, but if you eat pasta al dente, it's easy to digest. If you eat overcooked, it's going to stay on the stomach too long. It takes more time to be absorbed from your body. Anyway, to make it nice and short, the pasta thing,
Yes.
yes, keep it al dente, the most important thing, and many mistakes they make. It's yes, about the salty, I told about it. Overcook or undercook, the pasta. It can be a common mistake, like I said before, but it's essential to follow the package instruction. That's number one. Because each company's got different cooking time. Depends on what kind of grain they use, how they make it, what kind of machine they use. So how long they dry the pasta for. So if you make homemade pasta, I can tell you 2-3 minutes, you done deal. Done deal. It's nice and cooked. You make it by yourself, and that's it. But if you
Definitely.
use a dry pasta, it's going to take more time because, of course, it dries so long and it takes more time to cook. So you're looking at 10 to 12 minutes cooking time. Depends what kind of shape you use: short pasta, long pasta, and actually we put all this information on our website anyway. And
Yes.
Yeah, so making sure, I always suggest the old fashion style like my mom does. She does. She sometimes she doesn't follow the timer. Well, literally, yeah, she does. Literally, she does. But the old time I still remember. Keeping tasting. You keep it tasting into. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Keep it. Take it out. But just to let you know, yes, if you think that one was already done for your taste, like that one, the way the taste that you like, at the time it's arriving in your plate, after you put the sauce and everything, it's gonna be overcooked. So you have to think that the pasta after you drain, you keep it cooking because it's still hot. So you never
Yes.
stop cooking unless there is a few tricks. You put a little bit cold water in, or you blow. You try to stop the cooking process, but still inside it's still hot, so it's still cooking. So they give you that little time frame just to put the sauce on it, and you just serve it, you eat it. If you if you want it pasta nice and the perfect way how to cook. So I
Al
always
dente.
suggest, yeah, I always suggest al dente. Take it out al dente, and then after that, you got your time, to cook, to finish up with the sauce.
Yes, Mr. Muhammad, the Italian way to cook pasta must be eat al dente, firm to the tooth.
Well, I think the only one
You-
we don't do too much al dente is when it's a cold pasta. Cold pasta. No, we do a little bit more
yes,
cook, but otherwise, no. It's easy to digest. That's the most important thing, and it must be al dente.
definitely. So, Chevy, before we go on, let's shout out our listeners. Three countries, listeners on Food 101. So, what we're gonna shout out today? So, Shafi, let's shout out to the people listening in United Arab Emirates because Muhammad is from Dubai,
Oh,
right?
fantastic! I love Dubai.
Yes, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Shafi,
Fantastic. Yes, Dubai 71.4, Abu Dhabi 17.9, Ash Sharik 7.1, Ras Al Khayyam 3.6. I hope I pronounced it good. I'm
yes,
sorry if I didn't. My apologies.
yes. Shukran Jazilan, United Arab Emirates. Salam alaikum. Thank you. Ramadan Kareem. I think they're having a
Yes,
Ramadan
they
right
do it.
now.
They do it. They do it now. Yes, I got lots
Thank
of friends
you
that are doing
so
that.
much. So let's do.
Absolutely. Respect.
So Shafi, let's do shout out to the people listening in Kuwait.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Good.
because
Okay, we are Asima 100%. Wow, fantastic.
wow, thank you so much, Kuwait. Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Kareem as well. And let's shout out to the people listening in let's say which one, Shafi? Estonia.
Oh, Estonia.
Oh,
Wow. Arjuma
Arjuna.
100%. Wow.
Thank you,
Fantastic.
Estonia. You know, Shafi, in Estonia, they have cheaper chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in Tallinn. Yes,
Wow.
cheaper chocolate over there. So, thank you so much for supporting this podcast. All the 125 countries listening to us. Thank you so much for supporting us. And we are hoping that you will continue doing it because we are aiming for our 2 million downloads. Right,
Fantastic.
Shafi?
Yes, we
Be-
do. Yes, we do.
because our aiming is to become bigger.
Better and bolder like usual.
Yes, as usual, people, and thank you for Spotify for being number one podcast host for our Food 101, Apple Podcast 4.1, web browser 3.8, Kazabaka 3.8, 3.8, and other is 1.8. Thank you so much for supporting us on Spotify. So, Shafi, to wrap up our discussion for Mr. Muhammad, let's do recap of what we talked about from the
Well, we
start.
talk about the rice and the pasta today.
Yes,
So, what I will say, let me pick it up again because I was looking for another recipe for you.
yes. Let's recommend a recipe for Mr. Muhammad.
No, actually, oh, here we go. I got it. I got it. The rice here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, yes. Talk about the rice. Okay, Miss Mohammed. Okay, we have, like I say, depending what kind of rice you use. Long rice like a basmati and jasmine. It's just nice and wash good, and
Yes.
making sure it's all the starch goes out before you use in your rice cooker, and or you boil in the water. That's fine anyway. It's all good, and so you, if you, well, of course, for the rice like a risotto, Italian rice, you don't need to wash it because we need the starch for the to make a risotto anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, I think you're looking more for a fluffy and not sticky. So you're looking for more for a steam rice. So that's the best way how to do it.
Yes, Mr. Muhammad, I hope we give you a satisfaction of our advice and hoping that you're gonna email back and take a picture of the rice that you cook.
Yes, yeah, it would be amazing. Yes,
Yes.
fantastic.
And the pasta itself, for sure. There's a
Absolutely.
there's a lot of pasta recipe that Chef Alessandro will give you next
Oh, we got
episode.
lots of pasta recipe.
Yes, the pasta recipe. For the rice, for sure, arancini is the number one.
Oh, yes, arancini. Of course, arancini. You can't say no arancini. You can do
Mm,
any kind of arancini.
mm.
Oh,
Many times, yeah.
seafood, vegetarian, any kind of arancini.
Yes,
Classic arancini.
for sure. Different flavor, Mr. Muhammad. So
Absolutely.
if you want to go back to our first season, second season, third season, fourth season, we always have arancini. We will always have pasta that we are recommending, especially when Christmas or holidays. We are always suggesting a recipe that good for the table or for the family.
Yeah, I think arancini is one of the best one anyway. But if you make your rice, your jasmine rice or your basmati or any Japanese rice, any kind of rice, if you wash good, you make sure it's nice and without starch, and you once you steam, you can add anything beside. You can make a nice stew, you can make a nice curry, you can make anything you like over there.
Certainly.
Absolutely. And for the pasta, same thing. Make sure al dente, and that's
Yes.
all.
Al dente. That's the number one rule of Italian people. They are not eating pasta without uh, al dente on it.
Absolutely.
So, Mr. Muhammad, so please email back and again take a picture of what you did. If you follow us, please email back and send a picture the pasta or rice that you cook. So, Shafi,
Very good, people.
see you soon.
Bye.